So if you are new to this channel, or this is a channel you find yourself watching here and there, maybe you've noticed recently I've been playing a whole lot of Souls-like games, and there's a real big reason for that. And that's because I dabbed in Souls games over the years, but I've never gotten too far due to the frustration of difficulty and stuff, and just not really knowing what to do in these games. However, recently I decided to try to get back into Sekiro. And well, it was the first Souls game I ever beat, and now I'm stuck feeling kind of hollow because the game was something else. I'd like to review my experience and my thoughts on this incredibly difficult game. One that's claimed to be the hardest Souls game, yet it's the only Souls game I've been able to finish. And honestly, it's kind of like the only Souls game that I'm starting to really truly find myself wanting to go back and play more, because once I finally got past a certain point in this game just clicked. The fucking movements felt great. Everything in this game made me excited. Like, I kept coming back and I kept wanting to play this game. Even whenever I was doing nothing, I was like, man, I just want to go back and play Sekiro. I'm like so close to beating that boss, or I'm so close to getting a new skill point. I'm so close to getting this skill or that skill. So as usual, as my reviews go, I want to start with the story. The game is set in a fantastical feudal Japan, where you play as a shinobi who was adopted during a battle for Ishina, and was given the title of Wolf. You're tasked to protect Kuro, a child with divine blood that gives immortality. The game starts you out with nothing, and you're tasked to find the young master. After finding him, you're sent to find an escape route, which progresses the story with you losing your left arm, and then from then on, you're known as Sekiro, which literally translates to wolf missing a limb. From there, you're found by this guy who's a sculptor, and he ends up giving you his left arm. And that left arm has quite a bunch of functionalities, such as it can shoot flames, can load you up with shuriken, it can even turn into an axe or a spear, a shield, lots of different things. And this prosthetic that you have is what you'll be spending time upgrading, finding, materials to make it better, or different variants of the weapon. And you're even learning new skills and investing skill points into the prosthetics, as well as you're fighting bosses in order to obtain their essence, and then using that to upgrade your attack power, which, that's how every Souls game goes if you've ever played them before, but something about this just felt different. I found myself going after bosses, trying to find new prayer beads, new paths that I never explored before, so that way I could get better at the game and unlock new potential. And even at points I found myself just grinding for XP, so that way I could increase my attack power by using the mask that you find later on in the game, and trying to just find ways to get an edge in the next battle that I was working on, or even one that I was stuck on. When you finally find Kuro, you're pitted against Genichiro, the dude that cut you down earlier and also took off your arm. After defeating him, you and Kuro set off to find a way to break the chain of immortality and sever the ties to it. You battle many enemies who are kind of like gatekeepers for these things that help you reach this goal of severing the ties of immortality. And then when you finally get all that stuff, you're kind of given the choice of, do I join my father Owl and attack Kuro and take the immortality for myself, or do I continue with my oath towards Kuro? Whichever way you decide to go, that'll decide the ending of the game. But there are 3 endings to the game. I got the middle of the road one, but there's a happier one that I'd like to work on getting next. Then I'll finally do the last ending where I fight Emma and Lord Ishin. But anyways, going back to my review, you end up going on a journey to find this thing called the Mortal Blade, as well as fighting a dragon to steal its tears for Lord Kuro. You end up fighting Lord Genichiro one last time, as well as Lord Ishin, the Sword Saint, which that's the ending that I got. A battle that took me so many tries, and I eventually understood what I needed to do. Depending on whether you eavesdrop on a specific conversation, that'll lead to a different ending. However, the ending I got to was a sunrise that kind of was the final note of this grueling battle that you fought through. And it's kind of like that ray of hope at the end, where I just ended up having to murk Kuro, because I had to sever the ties. Anyways, for gameplay, early in this game, the fights feel incredibly hard, especially grueling, and like a fight for survival. However, after fighting Genichiro the first time, like in the tower, I felt like something clicked, and I wasn't struggling to survive small encounters. Parries were easier to achieve, and I wasn't dying as much. However, I'm not saying boss fights were still a walk in the park. It's all about learning their attacks. Unfortunately, they learn yours too, so being appropriate level isn't necessarily extremely necessary. Leveling up and learning skills literally levels the playing field. And once I finally understood these mechanics, this game finally made some sense to me. And it was such a rewarding and grueling process, but like I loved every part of the way. Having only one sword that is yours to go make the game like your bitch basically, it feels like focus. Like there's no meta weapon, no OP skill. There's just meta attack tactics technically. But if you're interested in truly getting good, you'll feel that feeling of achievement that I felt. And I love that this game wasn't just about dodging. It was about parrying and learning their, attacks and how to time them. It was epic to get a perfect parry combo and break an opponent's posture by being good at timing versus just dodging around, running out of stamina and just getting one-shotted off a cliff or something. Because that's what happens every single time I play any other Souls game. The resurrection system allows for you to get a second chance and honestly making the game feel more forgiving than any other Souls games. The unseen aid mechanic is another one of those mechanics that it's not in other games other than the only one I can think of is Lords of the Fallen, and that's because I've recently been playing it. And it feels like a one-up, like another opportunity to either be successful or die again. And if you end up losing stuff, well, hopefully your foreseen aid kicks in and then you won't lose anything. Otherwise, you'll lose half of your XP as well as half of your cash, which can be frustrating, especially as you get later on in and it takes like 22,000 XP or whatever to get one skill point, because really quickly you can go from being almost there to having absolutely nothing, and it's so frustrating, especially whenever you can't like farm high level enemies all the time because you don't know exactly where they're at, or they're just in a New Game Plus version, because once you get into New Game Plus they spawn in different areas and different routes will also spawn different enemies. Honestly, I feel like this game was a lot easier and far more enjoyable than other Souls games that I've tried, but now I just want more like it, and I'm searching for my next Sekiro to sink into. And it's kind of been frustrating because like the only ones that I'm coming close to are Lies of P and Lords of the Fallen. However, on Xbox, Lords of the Fallen constantly hitting hiccups and I'm hitting frame rate drops like none other. It makes my system overheat and it causes my entire camper to get extremely warm. So I'm very frustrated because it's not as smooth as Sekiro is, and it's not as smooth as even Lies of P is. And Lies of P is not as smooth as Sekiro is, because there are things that I don't like about that. But if you want to see a review on those games, definitely let me know down in the comments, because I would love to review these types of games. And I'd love to share my thoughts on these, because these are not games that I am a pro at, or even really one that I strive to be, because I don't play these types of games that often. It's just this happens to be my first one I ever finished, and I'm very stoked about that. Alright, moving on, we're going to the world. The world of Sekiro is beautiful. Every location feels crafted to be jaw-dropping as well as unique. Places don't feel reused, and I love that. The way the game uses eavesdropping to progress the story in certain areas, or even give you one-ups on certain enemies, or just let you know, hey, there's something for you to go look into. Why don't you check out this area? Or it gives you not like a direct area, it just kind of gives you a kind of like a hint. Hey, there might be something in this tower. I'm not going to say where this tower is, but you might find it. And sometimes you have to look up tutorials how to get to places, but that's not the biggest issue ever, because most of the time I'm trying to figure out how to fight a boss using YouTube, how to cheese them sometimes, because, Demon of Hatred was fucking difficult and I was not going to beat that guy on my own. Anyways, I'm getting off track. But the world, the enemies, they made this game feel so much better. The new areas and the new enemies that you come across could be a new threat that require different approaches. Being that this is a kind of semi-open world, there's plenty of routes, and each one leading to new areas as well as potential new mini bosses for you to fight, which is really good because now you could either get new prayer beads, new items to upgrade your prosthetic, whole different lot of things, especially even just XP. Sometimes it's just that one little push you need to get the next skill. Now we're going to talk about something you see every single time anybody talks about a Souls game, and that's get good. The idea of getting good with Sekiro is half true. Once you have the certain fundamental skills unlocked and an understanding of the parry system, you will quickly master the game. As you unlock different prosthetic tools, you'll learn how and who to use them on. Bosses quickly become something that you only die to a few times to understand them. Spamming the parry button is not the way. It's a rhythm game, so learn how to commit, go to parry, and don't let go unless you need to run or attack. Read people's movements, learn them, die a couple times, but it's not like you have to die to every single boss. Some bosses, it's just a matter of reading how they're telegraphing. Are they going to attack? How are they going to attack? Are they going to be using something that is undodgeable? How can you move forward? So the idea of getting good in this game is half true, because once you unlock certain tools, prosthetics, the game becomes freaking easy. Like, I can't tell you how many times it's just been the fact that my sword is now level 15. I can just swipe through guys in 2 hits, they're dead. Couple parries, they're done. I got him. Death blow. That's it. So as for my death blow on Sekiro is a grueling game, but honestly, as my first Souls, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Especially after I got to understanding the mechanics. I literally felt like I was playing an anime at times because the fights felt perfect. They're high speed, they're high precision, high focus type battles, and they're very acrobatic almost, like how people move and they're fast and odd. You see these clips on YouTube all the time and they look good. That is how good this game is. It is not just a clip somebody got lucky to, it's just that is how the game is. It honestly made the game feel perfect, and it made me feel like I was going into a true battle to the death. And I'm extremely glad that I pushed through the end. And I believe if you love fast action games that require an understanding on deep mechanics, this is the game for you. If you want a replay value, well, this is offering 3 endings as well as additional outfits to unlock if you have the Game of the Year edition, which at this point I'm pretty sure that's all they're selling. There is way more than just a single playthrough on this game. However, there isn't any DLC, so once you finish, there isn't a crazy amount of things left to do. And with the reports that there aren't any plans for a second one, you may be like me wishing for more. Kind of like a bittersweetness to it, because this is the fastest Souls games that I've played, and it has also been the hardest one that I've ever attempted at, but at the same time it's the easiest, which is, it makes no sense to me. I know it doesn't make any sense, but it's like something clicked deep inside of me and got me to finally say, okay, I can read these moves and I know what's going to happen next. I know how many times I have to parry, and I know how many times I can get a strike or 2 in before he attacks again. And I have a rough idea what he might do next, because if I do this, he might do that, or she might do this, or might do that. And honestly, it is something I wish that I would have pushed through years ago when I first started this playthrough. Because if I'm being honest, I started like when the game first came out back in 2019, and I stopped playing it for a good 2-3 years because I was just like, nope, I'm never going to be good at this game. I'm never going to beat it. I'm never going to be able to do this. And then I started seeing clips and I said, I want to try this. I want to beat this game and I want to be good at it and I want to stream it. So now here I am making my review about it and kind of just wishing that I had another one to play, another Souls game that was just like Sekiro. Unfortunately, it is a different beast. It is one of a kind, and I highly recommend it. However, I would wait until it goes on sale, because being that it came out in 2019, it's 5 years old now. Let's get a better price for it than $60. But if you really don't want to wait for a sale and you truly love and want a more challenging Souls game, I highly recommend this game. It is so good. It is phenomenal, and as somebody who doesn't play Souls games, and this being my very first From Softworks game I ever beat, I give this thing, it's a beautiful game. I can't even give it a rating because I don't know exactly where I would place it, because it's not the normal type of game I play. I normally play story games, not hard games. Story games typically are easier, but this game was something else, and it made me strive for more, wanting more, and now here I am raving about it. So those are my thoughts on Sekiro. As a person who has never beaten any Souls game, and this being my first Souls game I ever played through from start to finish, I rave about it. I really think that it's a really good game, and it's really disappointing that they're not making another one, or there's no plans to, because I truly believe more of these games are necessary, because it creates a strive for more and you want to be better. It's one of those games you get home and you're had a long day, but you're wanting something hard, but not something that's overwhelmingly difficult that you'll never get past it. You want something that's just right there at the brink. It's that last little stone and you have to reach with all your might to grab it. That's what this game is. So if you've played Sekiro, let me know your thoughts down below. If you've never played a Souls game and you want to get into it, ask questions. Let's talk about these types of games. Let's talk about the different things, that different types of games we played, ones that remind us of Sekiro. Let's share that knowledge down below in the comments. If you stuck around to the end, I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody who's been watching the live streams. And I want to get better at these video editings, but I'm also finding that I'm streaming more and more, and I'd like to get back into these review things. So let me know down in the comments, what you want to see me play next, what you want to see me review next, and stop by the streams. Say hey. Let me know that you still support me, and I appreciate you guys. So peace, love, homies. Fuck you.
Yes!
Fuck your cock. Sorry.
Oh my gosh!
Sorry, I had to. Fuck that bitch.
You might need to do another death blow.
I'm watching. Let's go.